welcome back. Today we're going to talk about 10 things that I would have already done if I was booked on a 2027 World Cruise or Grand Voyage. Let's get into it then. So the first one is travel insurance, and there's a few things to think about with travel insurance. It's not just the insurance itself, but it is the missed stops, so make sure you've got insurance for any port of call that are cancelled, empty house. So if your house is going to be empty for a certain amount of time, insurance companies normally want to know, and they'll either charge you extra or ask you, are you going to get a house sitter? So that's something to bear in mind. The duration that you're away for. So again, quite a few of them, if it's longer than 60 days, they want to know how long you're going to be away for. And let's just, an airlift. Make sure that the insurance company covers airlifting in case you need to be moved off the ship. So there are just a few things to make sure that you're aware of in relation to travel insurance. Moving on then, the next one would be Facebook groups. So I would have already joined the Facebook group for my cruise, and what I'll do is I'll try and put up here some links to some. So P&O I know is like J501 or J701 for 2027, and then R701 for the South America. I will try and find the Cunard ones, as I say, and put them up here. So when I actually joined the Facebook group, I would first off introduce yourself and make sure that you put a post on there. Everyone's really excited like you are and very welcoming, so you know, feel free to put a post on there. But also click onto the information tabs. So at the top there'll be a bar, and if you scroll along you will actually see the information tabs, and there's so much information in those tabs. Information about shore excursions, information about the cabins, information about all the different places that you're going to. So it's definitely a good source of information to have and to read through before you go. So the third thing I would say is shore excursions. So shore excursions used to always come out a year before, but recently they have been releasing them at different stages. So we are booked on a 2028 cruise, and they have actually already released some shore excursions onto the site. Now, some people might want to commit that early, but you can actually change them pretty easily. So feel free to go on and have a look. It's a great way of managing money. If you say, okay, I'm going to do a couple of shore excursions, and you do one every 3 months, then because you pay for it there and then, it's a great way of splitting the cost up and being able to budget a little bit better. That's the way I did it. I also looked at things like the internet packages, which I know I've mentioned before, but I did that in advance, so that was all paid for. And also it was my husband's birthday when we were on our last one, so it was great to have a few birthday surprises. So I booked a nice specialty restaurant, I'd booked some time at the spa, and I'd also booked a tour of the ship. So a few different things that you could do, and it's just about getting out there a little bit earlier and getting a little bit more prepared. So the next thing I would do is to book my transfer or parking, depending on which option you chose to do. So whether you're flying to the ship or whether you are going down to a port experience, then making sure you've got that book well in advance. So we've done cruises a few times and we've absolutely loved that, found it the easiest thing possible. But I know a lot of people like to fill their car, take it all down and maybe stay the night before, so they get on, you know, quite early that day. And there's quite a lot of hotels around the Southampton region, so a lot of people do it that way. But I would get it booked. The earlier you book parking, normally they have quite a lot of good offers on, especially for those long duration. I think it was about £100 and something last year to park for the whole duration, which is like absolute steal. So get them booked nice and in advance. So I know I've spoken about ALO before, but it is something I'd make sure I was familiar with before I go. And if you have got a holiday between now and then, you can test it out and see what you think of it. It's not sponsored this at all, but it's something that me and the family all use. You know, we've got 20-year-old boys who, if they leave the internet for 2 minutes, then it's an emergency. So we do go on. I will put the symbol up here so you've got it, and I'll try and do a screen recording so that you can see AirAlo in its format. So the next thing I would do is summer clothes. I would check out my summer wardrobe and just have a really good sort through, because there's no better time to get summer clothes than actually in the summer. If you try and wait till winter, it's obviously a lot harder. You're having to buy online, you can't actually see them in person. Whereas if you go to the shops now, have a look at what you can get, then you know you've got a lot more variety. So it would definitely get in early with the summer clothes. So the second to last thing I would do is to get myself 4 cardboard boxes. I'm going to put on the screen now what I do with the first 3, which the first 3 would be allocated to things that are coming on the cruise with me. So the first one would be for toiletries, things like suntan cream, shampoo, conditioner, medication, that sort of thing. So I could start to collect it as I went. The second one would be for cabin things, so you know, photos of home, some in night lights if you need night lights. They're very useful to be able to get to the toilet in the middle of the night. Magnets, you know, lots of different things for your cabin, storage ideas. And then the third one I have is for entertainment, so books you want to read, any pack of cards, games, sweets, bingo dabbers, those sorts of things. And you'll see on the screen it's got the full list of things that I would recommend or ideas that you can consider. And then moving on to the 4th box, which would be things that would stay at home and things that you need to consider while you're away. So this is things like, is your car insurance going to be due? Whose birthday is it while you're away? Have you got a gift for them? MOT, council tax. There's lots of different things that are going to come up while you're away, and just making sure that you've got them covered, or that you've ordered a new credit card if it's due to expire. Those sorts of things, you can kind of tick them off your list. So list is on screen. I hope it's useful. And finally, number 10 is visas and vaccinations. So you've not necessarily got to have these done yet. You can wait till nearer the time, but making sure you understand what the visa requirements are for your trip, and also what the vaccination requirements are. So some of them are very strict on vaccinations if you go to some countries, and others are very are fine with it, but just always err on the side of caution. If it says to get something, then I would recommend you get it. The P&O website, the Cunard website, the MSC website, all these websites will have as much information as they possibly can, but you also can't beat the government websites. So if you go onto the government website and see what you need to travel to certain countries, and make sure that you have those. So that's it for today. There are 10 things that I would have done already. I am going to continue this and keep coming back at regular intervals to tell you other things that I would have done. We are actually going on a long trip next year. Unfortunately, it's not a cruise, but we are going on a 2-month trip. So I will be packing alongside you and making sure that I remember the key things. So please join back for that and subscribe so you get notifications of the next ones. Take care.